Hey, everybody. Good to see you. The gang's all here. All right, let's start with some hellos. Okay. Pat, good to see you. Oh my gosh, you have no idea, bud, how spot on some of your comments were today with what we are going to be talking about tonight, and how our animals continue. I put a little comment in there, how our animals are literally lighting the way for us. They're changing everything for us. If I can get everybody who watches these videos, whether you're here with me live or you're watching this on the replay, if I can change your entire perspective to get you to understand that our animals on the other side of life will do everything in their power to help us live a better life right now here. So cool. But anyway, I digress. Not ready to go there yet. Hello, Sherry. How we doing? And Kimberly, it's good to see you. Kim, good to see you as well. Yeah, right? Mystical fur peeps. I love it. We are, right? This is supporting people who are going through pet loss, but in the most unique way, with all of our mystical fur babies right by our side. Absolutely, 100%. Kim, hello. Donna, hello. Donna, it's so nice to see you here. And hopefully you saw my message. If not, just I'll check the comments as they go further down. Let me know if I can share that story about the ornament, because it really still blows my socks off. Okay, let's see. 27 episodes. I know. That I've been able to commit every single Monday to doing one of these, because I love it, and you guys make it so much fun. And let's say hello to everybody else before I jump in and say hello to all the folks who are watching this on the replay. Mel, happy Monday. Good to see you. Jess, good to see you as well. Jen, awesome to have you here. And Mimi, great to see you. Lost another friend to the Animal Collective. We all wish they were here longer, but Jen, I'm telling you, there's a reason. And we're getting closer and closer to the real reason that our animal companions live shorter lives than us, but how we don't need to suffer. Even when our heart, even if it's momentarily shattered in a million pieces, there's a way to pick up the pieces and have them help us live our best lives, because that's all they want for us. Oh, good, Donna. Thank you very much. Jody, how you doing? Good to see you. I did send you an email back, by the way, Jody. Okay, and I think that's all the hellos I have for now. I just like to say give a greeting to everybody and welcome you here. For those of you who are watching this on the replay, as a replay, my name is Elaine, Animal Reiki Master. If you're catching me for the very first time, we do these live streams every single Monday. It's a beautiful community of people. If you look at all the comments, it's a beautiful community of people who gather every Monday to support each other as we heal. From the loss of an animal companion, as we share our condolences with others who are newly joining us. We always have somebody new, usually joining us each video, and it's a good community, and it is meant for helping people recover, to heal, to help their heart be healed after the loss of an animal companion. But it's in a most unique way. We throw in a healthy dose of mystical stuff. We talk about some psychic stuff, spirituality, metaphysics. There really isn't anything off limits here. And if it resonates with you, then please join us, because we have a nice community that's beginning to grow here. 27 episodes strong. Oh, we've crossed the half-year mark now. I can't wait till it's 270. And I can't believe that every single week the animals inspire me with something new to share with you guys. And I do have a lot to share. So we have a little bit of housekeeping. Always do this. So again, if you're watching this as a replay, you can always scroll ahead about 5 minutes if you're not interested in all the hellos and the housekeeping stuff. I want to let you guys know, my Colorado peeps, or anybody who wants to travel, it's a one-day in-person event at the Mini Misfits. What does she call it? The Misfits Mini Farm Sanctuary. It's a private residence. It's on 5 beautiful acres along a beautiful creek here in Arvada, Colorado, and it's very private. So you can't go Google Mini Misfits Farm or something. It's not going to show up. But we're having a one-day program there, animal communication, animal Reiki, practicing with the animals in person. All of the information, I don't have it up on my website yet, but I can also send out an email to everybody. Just send out one of those little update emails if anybody wants to join. And then for anybody who's distant, who's far away, and you want to learn animal communication and animal Reiki, we had our mini animal communication class 2 Thursdays ago. This Thursday coming up is the mini animal Reiki class, just kind of giving you an introduction, like tip of the iceberg kind of stuff to see if it's something that you're interested in. But I'm doing the full-blown course. It's 5 weeks, starts September 7th. It's every Saturday morning, at least morning here in Denver. It's 8 a.m. in the morning here in Denver, 10 o'clock Eastern time. And we've already got some people signed up, one person from Nova Scotia. So I love when we have a global group there. Anywho, if you want to join, that is posted on my website now, and that begins September 7th. And this coming Thursday night, Intro to Animal Reiki. If you are interested, that I posted in our community page also. Okay, I think those are all the updates that I have from now. I'm going to catch up on the comments real quick. And I do want to say, I appreciate when you guys got my back. When you guys have my back, there's generally every once in a while, I get somebody who is a true skeptic or a little snarky on the videos that I post, because I don't hold anything back. I just am who I am, and I'm the authentic me, and this is what I do. And every once in a while, you get somebody who thinks that I'm wackadoodle, and that's okay. I'm okay with it. Love and light to them. I know that when it comes the time that the information will come, they'll see the information in a whole different light. But I do appreciate all you guys who have my back, and I don't even need to comment because you guys are all over it. So I appreciate that. Let's see. Cactus Smithy, good to see you. Mew Mew, yelling out your name. Okay. And I'm taking that as a sign. I can hear the kitty cat saying your name. We said that, right? Right. That your kitty cat, it was in your reading that your kitty cat said your name. And Sherry, you will definitely be there Thursday. Absolutely. I love that September class. I'm off on Saturdays. Oh, okay, Kim. I posted the information in the description of this live stream. It's also on my website. I can always send out information to you. Easy enough. Wackadoodle. So I have to tell you that is my favorite insult that was ever said to me by a very dear friend who meant it, trying to tell me in a serious way that I was being wackadoodle, and perhaps I needed to rethink my wackadoodleness. But I just love the name so much that I keep it, and I have not changed my ways at all. If anything, I've gone further down the rabbit hole. Okay, a couple of things as I'm looking through the comments that I really want to share. Tonight we're going to be talking about our pet's purpose. Many of you have probably seen the movie A Dog's Purpose. And it's a tearjerker. It's a really good movie, a really good heart-feeling movie. I love those kind of movies so much better than shoot 'em up movies. We talked about those last week. I love those kind of movies, but every single pet truly does have a purpose. And some of us humans, I know I was there, and if you can relate, go ahead and just let me know. Let us all know in the comments. Why am I even here? Like, what's the point? I reached a point in my life where that's what I said, where every day I would get up, I felt like I was on, like in what's the Bill Murray movie? Groundhog Day. So I felt like I was in Groundhog Day. Every day you wake up, you eat your breakfast, you drink your coffee, you put the kids off to school, you get in the car, you drive to work, you put up with all the BS at the office, you drive home, you have a nasty commute home, you get home, you're exhausted, everybody's cranky, blah, 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 blah. And I felt like I was really stuck in that rut. And I remember saying to myself, I don't understand. What is the point? What's the point? What is my purpose? And little did I know that just putting that out there vocally set everything to work in the universe. It set all the little tendrils going. And of course, I have discovered my purpose now. Animals don't ever have to ask that question. The pets who come into our lives with a purpose. They come into our lives for a reason. They leave us for a reason. But every single animal that comes into our life does so with a very specific purpose. And sometimes we really hang on to a lot of the guilt based on the way that they exit our lives, but we can let all that go. And I hope that tonight, after some of the messages I've received from them, we can kind of get to that point. All right, so I'm going to check comments one more time because we're about 10 minutes in. Ellie, good to have you here. Thank you. Yes, what's my purpose? Jen, I think you know what your purpose is too, hon. See, there's a little icon that keeps blocking some of the comments there. Hatchie. I think it says Hatchie. A Dog's Tale with Richard Gere. Oh, I don't think I know that one. Thanks for bringing that up because I'm always looking for a good one. End of a work day. All I want to do is rush home to my fur. Having an animal companion at home is a wonderful way, and I'm going to give you a little insight into what I teach when we do animal Reiki. Having an animal companion at home when you come home is a wonderful way to help you release the stress. But here's the thing. There was a study done. It was a university in Australia. I always forget the name. It's not a name that's easily memorable. There was a university in Australia that did a study by placing heart monitors on dogs. And it was done in residences. So what they measured was when a person came home from work, what happened to their dog's heart rate when they walked through the door. So it's kind of the flip of what you just said, Sherry. They measured that within 1 minute of a person entering a room, their animal companion, the heart rate matched their humans. So if a human walks in the door stressed out, miserable, cranky, cussing, whatever it might be, if they walk in the door that way, your dog will immediately pick up on it. Now, don't use that as a judgment because the purpose of this study was to help us flip the way we are managing our own stress. If we come into an environment stressed, our dog picks up on that. So it's not just dogs. This particular study was dogs. Animals are so attuned to our state of mind that they will pick up on the stress instantaneously, and they themselves will then become stressed. And it feeds this little cycle of stress, and stress results in physical illness, not just emotional and mental upset, not just worry and anxiety. It manifests itself as actual physical illness. And I think many of you may know this. You can look at any medical site, any hospital site, and they'll tell you that the number one cause of all illness is not the illness. It's not heart disease. It's not diabetes. It is the stress that causes the heart disease and the diabetes. So the goal of that study was to teach us that before we even walk in the door, we should do a little breathing exercise. We can just, if we breathe 10 times deeply, just the breath, just that little bit of breath work, 10 breaths is not that long. If you want to help your animal be not stressed when you walk in the door and then create a cycle of relaxation, then you take 10 deep breaths before you walk in the door. And I used to say, when I was in human resources, so I'm gonna cuss. So, if you got children around, plug your ears. Leave your own shit at home is what I used to tell people. Don't bring it to the office. You check it at the door. And when you come into the office, I need you to be 100% present. Can you imagine? That's what I said to people. I just want to go back, and I've forgiven my old HR self many times over, but she still needs a little bit of work. Instead, what we should do is when we come home, leave our shit at the door. Whatever we are bringing in with us, whether it was somebody who cut us off in traffic, a gnarly boss, a pain in the neck coworker, let all that go. And remember that it's your animal companion who's the most important. And you take those 10 nice breaths, you open the door, you walk in and create an environment that has no stress. And watch how everything changes. Watch how it all begins to shift. And then it won't just be happening when you come home from work. It'll be a regular routine that you begin to practice. It'll be a wonderful practice, and you'll be doing it without even thinking about it. It'll become a habit, a beautiful habit. Don't know where all that came from. I think it was Sherry being stressed out when she gets home. Okay. Based on a real story, it's a tearjerker. I'm just checking comments real quick. If I had plans to go out after coming home, I had to put on my PJs so that Bailey would eat her dinner. Interesting. That is a clear example. Our animals, our animal companions, animals in general, pick up on human stress. It's why so many times animals run from us. Why we don't have the Snow White connection that we're all looking for, because they want nothing to do with stressed out humans. On the other hand, the animals who share our home are even more sensitive to our personal stress levels. So personal stress levels, when we can start to Instead of letting the stress control us, we are the ones who control our own thinking. Okay, that's why a little bit off topic. Okay, 4 videos of Mew Mew yelling at me with yourself. Okay, I do want to tell you one more story before we start to talk about what our animal companions, what their purpose is. And I picked like 4 random things that just immediately came to my mind. And when I say came to my mind, I know it's all inspired. I don't like cook this stuff up in my own imagination. It flows into me, and then I write it all down. And if you have any. So as we go through the couple that I came up with, I would love to know what you guys think of animal companions, whether it's past or present, animals that share your life with you, and what you think their purpose is. Have you been able to see what their purpose is? But I want to tell you a story about readings. And Kim, you're the one reminding me of this when we did the, Cheryl, Miss Nunya, when we did Mew Mew, and the song that came through and your name that came through, I always ask for a little piece of evidence, something evidentiary that will let us know that the animal companion we are connecting with is the one that we really want to connect with. And it's not the animal companion so much, because I have had more than one animal come into a room, like into the energetic space. I've sensed more than one animal, and sometimes it's 3 or 4. We had 3 Milos at once. That's one of my favorite examples. But it's more about understanding that the information that I'm sharing with you is not made up, that I didn't just sit down and write random things and hope that the spaghetti stuck to the wall. It's not that at all. So I asked for specific evidence. And I'm going to share the story about Donna. If you guys scroll up to the comments a little bit, we're doing a reading for Maggie. And when we were doing the reading for Maggie, I said, as part of many things, I was like, there's something, it's round. And I remember going like this as I look in the video. It's round, it's round like a Christmas ornament, but it's not a Christmas ornament. It glitters, it glows, it sparkles. I can't wrap my mind around. I couldn't quite get a glimpse of what it was. And that's how I was trying to describe it. And when we were done the reading and we were just kind of chit-chatting, Donna was like, not 100% sure what that is. And then we're talking a little bit more, and then the light bulb went on, and she went over to the side and got this ornament that was not psychedelic. What do you call that? Like raku, or it was all different colors, all different swirling colors, in a little silver disc with a paw print right smack in the middle. I did not get the paw print, but I got that glittery disc. It was so like a disc that reminded me of a Christmas ornament, but it wasn't a Christmas ornament. So when you guys get readings, that's where this is kind of going to go. When you guys get readings, sometimes it's from the animal's perspective. And here's the thing, Maggie had never seen that ornament, but she was trying to show us something that would validate the experience. And how better to validate something that Maggie had never laid eyes on, but giving me something that Donna could relate to. So it's just a fun story. I love these kinds of connections, you guys. So the more you let me practice with this, it just makes me so happy. Okay. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about some of the ways that our animal companions, and I'm just going to check the comments real quick because I see a lot more flowing in. I sent the audio video so you can actually hear them. Oh, I see. Okay. Let me go back and check on that. I don't think unless you just sent them, let me make myself a note. I haven't seen them. Audio and videos of Meow Meow. It's a shame these can't be more interactive, like Zoom calls, right? Where you guys could just jump in and start chit-chatting if you wanted, but it's what it is. So I do the best with what we got. Let's talk about why our animals, what their purpose is. And the number one thing that comes to me is teachers. They come to us as teachers. I used to not like that. Like the thought of them, the only reason that animals come to our lives is to teach us something, like we dumb humans, we're the idiots, and the animals have to come and really show us what we're supposed to be doing. And they're so much smarter than us, but it's more than that. Animals are amazing teachers and amazing healers, but I used to think that it was in judgment, like like cats. Cats in particular. I still think this a little bit. I think that cats shake their head at us. I think that sometimes cats go, "What are you thinking?" But in reality, when they come to us as teachers, it's not in judgment. It truly is as physical guardian angels. They come to our lives to really help us have better lives. There is so much that they would like to teach us. Okay. Oh, they sure do, for sure. I do get that sense. I just get the sense that they hold us a little bit in disdain. Just there's a little bit of judgment going on there. All right, let me take a drink. So the first thing that I came up with is the most obvious. And the most obvious to me is unconditional love. They've come to teach us unconditional love. They've come to teach us what that is. Like, what really is unconditional love? That there is nothing that stands in the way of their love. So one of the examples I like to use is that there is no dog, there is no cat, there is no hamster, there is no horse who cares if you shaved your legs, who cares if you brushed your teeth, who cares if you see a new wrinkle on your face. I know they're all cosmetic things, but there's no animal that cares about any of the superficial stuff. They don't care about that superficial stuff. They care what's in your heart. That's what our animals care about. They care only that you love them, and they will love you no matter what. And I want you to think about this a little bit further. They love you no matter what, even on a day you forgot to feed breakfast, even on a day where it was snowing outside and you really did not want to take them for a walk, and they needed to relieve themselves, even on a day when they had diarrhea. I'm just trying to come up with different examples. That it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter when you got angry with them for whatever reason, when something was not the way, you were not being the best parent that you possibly could be. And no judgment from me, because I've been there. They still love you. Like they love you so much, they would just kiss your face off. It's just wonderful, that kind of unconditional love. And then it goes a little bit further than just that. Unconditional love is they're teaching us what it really is to love unconditionally. And that means loving everything without conditions and without judgment. I think that judging is a part of the human experience. For whatever reason, we judge all the time. There's hardly anything that we don't judge. Example right now, I'm about to say there's some Yahoo outside mowing the lawn. There's judgment right there. There is a gentleman who comes to mow the lawn of a building that's not even a residence, a building next door. And he picks the most inopportune times to mow the lawn. And here I am judging that. I'm judging even that we have to mow our lawns. Why can't we just have natural yards? The judgment, it's everywhere. Even when we try not to judge, we still judge. We judge ourselves, worst of all. Unconditional love means giving yourself unconditional love. And when a cat or dog or hamster or parakeet can show us how to love ourselves as much as they love us, that changes everything too, because we can then unconditionally love. We can love humans. We can love all humans regardless. We can love the smelly person who's sitting next to us on the commuter train. We can love everyone and everything, including the bumblebees, the spiders, the mosquitoes. When animals teach us unconditional love, I think that one of their main, if not the main reasons, I've still got more to go, but I think the primary focus of every animal that we come in touch with is to help us learn and understand love. I believe, I have no proof of this. I have no scientific proof. I think there are people trying to prove something like this, but in the whole field of quantum physics, is that there is this energetic field that surrounds, it's not just surrounding everything, it makes up everything. We're not just in the field, we are the field. And that's everything. Every pencil, every glass of water, every bug, every animal, everything is part of this field. And the way that the energy is organized is the way that we end up with shapes. So the way energy is physically organized in my living body creates me. The way energy is organized in my mouse is the way it makes this hard and makes it do what it does. It's all energy. The field itself is energy that is pliable. It can be manipulated. It can be organized. It can be reorganized. That's where the whole law of attraction and manifestation comes from. If anybody has seen the Progressive commercial, I think it is, where the girl's standing there with a selfie. Here I am in my favorite field, practicing gratitude, manifesting abundance, and they make a joke out of it. But that's all very real. I'm getting to where the love comes in just a second. That is all very real. Organizing energy is the way that we create things into our reality. And I'm not going to go too much further into that. We can always have another conversation. Doesn't have too much to do with pet loss so much, but how we practice gratitude in our mind, gratitude as opposed to grief, forgiveness as opposed to anger and resentment. All of those things influence this energetic field, and it impacts the way that things happen in our lives. I think the greatest of all of these is love. And the love, when you send love out unconditionally without judgment, when you just you don't have to send it out. You don't have to do anything except feel it. Let yourself love. When you see I don't know what kind of weird bug outside would make you upset, a spider. You see the spider, and instead of squishing the spider, just love it. Just love it and say, thank you. Thank you. I know that you serve a purpose here on earth, and thank you. Let the gratitude and the love flow. It influences, it literally sends vibrations. I know the word vibration is another one of those hairy-fairy, hippy-dippy words. It literally sends the vibrations out into this energetic field, and things rearrange. And it's not instantaneous. Like, you can't be like I Dream a Genie and wiggle your nose and snap your fingers. And that wasn't I Dream a Genie. She snapped her fingers. Who wiggled their nose? Samantha, right? I'm probably dating myself now with Bewitched. It doesn't happen instantaneously, but yes, you can rearrange that energy. And love is the thing that does it most. So what I'm trying to get at is that the reason they're here to teach us unconditional love is not because they want us all to be kumbaya, which they do, but it's not just to have us all be like all lovey-dovey, kumbaya, big hug for everybody, group hug. It's because it will change things when we all offer love. So there's unconditional love. What else about that? That you are worthy to receive it is the other thing that they're showing us. And I'll catch the comments in a second. I can see them scrolling by pretty fast here. They teach us that we, I, me, you, we are all worthy of being loved. Something at some point has probably happened to you in your life. I can think back to when I was a little girl, when I was raised in a very, very strict household, when I was taught to be silent. Children were seen and not heard. So many things that kept my inner self, my true light from shining, that I wasn't worthy, that I was not worthy. When I was raised in the Catholic Church and I went to Catholic school as a child, and I was taught to do this: I am not worthy. I am not worthy. I am not worthy. Can you imagine teaching a child to say those words, that they are not worthy? So beautiful animals have come into our life to say, you are worthy. Everybody is worthy. Every single living thing is worthy of being loved, and that includes you. And tonight, in fact, before you go to bed, I dare you, stand in front of your mirror, look yourself in the eye and say, I love you. I'm going to look at myself right in here now on camera. I love you. I love you. I love you. Now it looks like I'm looking down, but I'm really looking at me. I love you. I love you. I love you. And by the way, I love you. That's like, it solves everything. It just solves everything if we could get to that point. Okay. I am going to go back and check some comments real quick before I have one more thing to say about unconditional love. And that is, you give what you get. And the more we can give offer, share love, the more it comes back to us in our lives. That is the true law of attraction. The true law of attraction is that you receive what you give. All right, let's check. You guys are all talking about movies. You're killing me. 50 First Dates, great movie. I agree. Fleas. There are pests that absolutely, fleas, ants, ticks, cockroaches, fruit flies. I'm trying to think of anything that can come into your home and annoy you. Fleas, though, right? I get it. I totally get it. One of the things we talk about in animal communication and animal Reiki is asking those critters to go. I don't see anybody on here who had the problem. I can't even remember who it was who had the problem with who had a problem with mice and getting the mice to leave without having to hurt the mice. And it was all about the same thing. Love them and ask them to go. I've asked creatures to leave my home. Please just leave my home. It frightens me. It scares me. I'm sorry. I love you. I'm thankful for whatever your job heroes on this earth, but I need you to go. But yeah, fleas are that's a tough one. I don't have all the answers, but yeah, fleas. Okay, let's see the rest of the comments. I did the love thing with the daddy long legs. Okay, there you go. Let them go on a paper towel. Here's the interesting thing. When you start to do that, your whole relationship with the natural world changes. And there are now like wasps. I could never, ever, like people would get a glass and you hold it over the wasp and you slide a card in there and then you put the thing outside. Same thing with spiders. You trap them in a glass, you slide. I could never do it. It would freak me out. Like I would be totally freaked out and there's no way that I could do it. I would call my husband in to squish the spider. And that goes back to a childhood thing. I remember it clearly, being in the bathroom and having a spider drop onto my head and crawl down my face. Completely freaked out, left me with, I don't know, post-traumatic stress or something. But from that point on, I was afraid of spiders. When I was only 2, my very first memory was being stung in the eye by a bee. Down on the ground, playing in the yard, and stung right in the eye. Left me with a traumatic fear of bees. And how my parents responded to those incidents impacted me. When I was little, I was that impressionable and that young that it left me with, where am I going with this? Just that now I don't have to squish anything anymore. I love to be able to free them. I love to be the one who's called upon to capture the creepy crawly thing and put it outside, because I talk to them as I do it and I trust that they're not going to hurt me. Okay, we're going to keep on going. The wedding singer. Okay, you guys are still in the movies, huh? Oh, there's a song. Oh, I love that. Music is a beautiful way to stay connected with our animal companions. If you guys, I'm sorry if you can hear this lawnmower guy out here. He's really going to town. And understand why this little yellow bird, a canary, was outside on my step one day. It didn't fly away. Let me pick it up. It was deceased. And the next day it was deceased. When those things happen to us, and that kind of gets a little off the topic, but again, every single animal, every single one, the raccoon who knocks over the trash cans at midnight, an animal who lets you rescue them only to be deceased. I did it with a raccoon. I had a baby raccoon. We were out hiking. The baby raccoon was in distress. There was no other raccoon anywhere around. It was the middle of the day. Of course, my family freaks out that I'm picking up a baby raccoon. I didn't care. I pick up the baby raccoon and I contacted the rehab center. I was going to drive it straight to wildlife rehab, and he died on the way. Why? Why did that happen? Why did that little animal allow me to have him as part of my life, only to die 10 minutes later? And I think it was because I loved him so much in that 10 minutes that he was able to pass in peace, knowing that some other living thing, that he wasn't left laying on a dirt trail all by himself to die with maggots crawling all over him, that some loving creature was able to hold him, save him, rescue him, show him love in the last 10 minutes of his life. And I believe that would be the same thing for your canary. All we need is love, 100%. The Beatles nailed it. I love the movie Yesterday, but there's so many Beatles songs that totally get it. They're totally spot on, and it's all about love. We need a movie night. That's good. We should have a movie night. And Kim, it doesn't have to be sad. I get it, because I was sad. I wanted that little raccoon. I wanted that little raccoon to be able to be taken to rehab and then be set free again. But it's okay, because they needed the love that we gave them at that moment in time. That's all they needed. All they needed from us was a few moments of love so that they could pass in peace. Okay, I think we're up to date on the comments. Bed bugs. All right, you guys. I don't have an answer for all the bugs. I don't. I don't have an answer for all the bugs, except to say that many of the bugs, we're the ones who are living in their space, not vice versa. And anyhow, we're not going to go there. Okay, what else did I want to? Okay, that was it for unconditional love. Then the need to let go of control. The need to let go of control. If anybody is like me, I still find myself. I catch myself now, though, being the total control freak, where I have to be in charge of everything. I have to say how it's going to go, where it's going to go, how it's going to be. And I've learned to really relax about that. But I had 50 years of it under my belt. And so just these past few years of letting go of that, it still has a way of creeping back into my experience. But letting go of the need to control. And control what? Control the outcome of anything. It's somewhat disconcerting to realize that we have very little control, but sometimes when we let go, that's when the best magic happens, when we let go of our expectations of what needs to happen. But more than anything, I think our animals are telling us to let go of the need to control the flow of life, that it's much better if we can learn to flow with the flow, go with the flow of life, relax into the flow of life, understanding that every single animal has its own journey. That's another thing we talk about in the Reiki world when I teach the Reiki class, is that every single animal is a sentient being. They have a soul, they have preferences, they have agency, they have choices that they don't often get to act on, but they have preferences. They are living things that have a life. And the ones that come into our home have a life that is very closely joined to ours, but they are on their own journey. And for the most part, they take us along for the ride, and we are together on that journey. And remember, was it last week or 2 weeks ago when we talked about the soul contracts, that there is a point in time when we probably have agreed to travel the path together until the path diverges and our animals go one way and we go the other. So to let go of that need to control an animal's journey. It also teaches us how to be resilient, how to bounce back. When they cross to the other side, what are they teaching us? They are teaching us that our life goes on. And even we have good days and we have bad days, but even on our worst day when we think we can't go on, I would urge you, encourage you, invite you to keep in mind, what would your animal companion want for you? They wouldn't want for you to be left in despair. They would want for you to recognize that they had a journey and something that needed to be fulfilled, that at some point diverged from our life. And when they cross to the other side, and this is going to be in a second, I'm kind of jumping ahead a little bit, that they haven't left us. Just because our physical path has diverged a little bit, it does not mean that they have left us. So it teaches us how to bounce back after they've crossed to the other side, and we grieve. And I don't think I've posted this video yet. I can't remember. I do so many of them all at once. Like I'll get very inspired and I'll start doing video after video. That they teach us to, now it's gone. They teach us to bounce back. They teach us to be resilient. It's gone. All right. It'll come back to me. Then the other thing that they teach us about letting it go is that there's nothing we can do to change their journey. Their journey is their journey, just like yours is your path. And there isn't anything we can do to change that. So people may say, and they often do, but I've done everything possible. I did every medical treatment I possibly could. I did every round of chemotherapy. I tried every medication. I went to the holistic Chinese doctor. We had acupuncture. We changed nutrition. We did everything possible, and still Fluffy passed. It is beautiful that you did everything possible, because what it did was teach you how to be an even better caretaker going forward, which is our next topic. It taught you how to be a better caretaker going forward. But what it also taught you was that your pet had a purpose over which you had no control. And it doesn't matter whether you accidentally left the gate open, whether your husband had the car window open when you're driving down the road and the cat jumped out, whatever it might be, there isn't anything you could have done about it. Nothing. It's why blame is useless. Blame is probably one of the most useless things that we can waste our time on, is blaming somebody for something over which we don't have control. And that's sometimes a hard pill to swallow. I get it. I totally get it. We've talked about this with Winston when I blamed my husband for not seeing that Winston was dead. But blame it's one of the densest emotions we possibly have. And when we have those dense emotions, it keeps us way down in a place that does not allow us to connect with our animals and hear those songs and hear our voice being called and see the beautiful little ornament. Those things, see them in the clouds. Those things happen when we let our heart be light and let go of all those denser emotions like blame and guilt and anger and resentment. So that's letting go of control. All right, the next one was to become better caregivers. Excuse me, I got to drink while I do a lot of talking. To become better caregivers. Our animal companions, especially when we second guess ourselves, I should have done this, I should have done that. Why didn't I do this? Why didn't my vet see that? How come I didn't? I shouldn't have made them eat dry dog food. On and on. We could give all these examples of things that we would have done better. Anything. I think I've shared with you before. It took me a long time to share this. That when Jack was kind of running out into the road and I didn't want him to get hit, I jerked it in such a way. I just didn't want him to be hurt. I didn't want him to go into the street. And in the end, I knew that I hurt him. I didn't mean to, but I would do anything to take that back. I would do anything, knowing full well that he had arthritis in his hips. It still makes me cry. I would do anything to take that back. But will I know next time? 100%. I can only say that I see now all of my animal companions come through Gypsy in one way or another. I'm going to have to tell you the story about her stepping on my foot because Lucy did it all the time. I don't want to forget that. And I am 100%, even though I'm sure I make mistakes, but I'm 100% a better caregiver for Gypsy than I was for all of my other animal companions, because with each one, I've learned something new. They've taught me something different. They've taught me about nutrition. They've taught me about exercise. They have taught me about everything that I do with them has made me a better caregiver. And that's for you as well. Whenever you decide that another animal should come into your life, which, by the way, is another reason our pets may leave us, or no, it's not the reason they leave us, but it's one of the things that they can do from the other side is orchestrate all the synchronicities. When we say out loud, I wonder if I'm ready, they're already putting all the little pieces in place to help us find our next animal companion. Anywho, it makes us not only better caregivers for our current animal companions, but for all animals in general. It makes us better people for all caregivers for all animals in general, leaving aside the fleas, the bed bugs, and all those other critters. It makes us better caretakers of turtles crossing the road, of geese who are blocking the way, of anything, of little injured birds, of little injured raccoons. We become better caregivers. It makes us better caregivers for humans, because when we can start to show compassion and unconditional love to animals, it helps us become more compassionate to humans as well, and to to all of our fellow human beings who share this planet. And I saw a little meme on Instagram the other day, and it said, remember that everybody's going through it. We are all going through it. Whatever it might be, we are all going through something, and we are all carrying some kind of burden, and we are all trying to figure it out together. So just give a little bit of grace to yourself and other people. So they help us be better humans. They help us be better caretakers to plants. I think I've told you guys that I never had a green thumb. I just couldn't. Now I have plants. I have plants everywhere, and I've named them for pets. I've named Jack and Lucy here. I don't see Helen because Helen's in England, but she's the first one who I realized that I was going to name a plant for her. Remember, if you guys remember, it was a while ago. The plant tipped over here, and it was when I was doing a reading for Seifer, and I decided to name the plant Seifer, and Seifer's out in my living room. And here's the really cool thing about that. When I wake up every morning, I get to say, good morning, Jack. Good morning, Lucy. Good morning, Seifer. So start naming your plants after your pets who are on the other side. But it helps you be a better caretaker for all animals and humans and plants in your life. Okay, the next one. And then I'm going to ask for comments. Bed bugs, no bueno. I know that. I was a pet owner doing all... it keeps being blocked by my little icon over there, but didn't care. I know that can't be what that says. But I think I get the general gist of what you're saying, that we will do everything possible down to our last dime to help them. And in those cases, what I'm going with, and this is just coming through to me right now, is that between you and your animal companion and your veterinarian, you can come to a place that lets you become more aware of what is best for your animal companion. So you may ask, like I asked Lucy, when I asked Lucy when she was first in a coma, and I told her, I remember specifically, I sent out a request for Reiki to my whole community. I had hundreds of people sharing Reiki with her. And I said, if you're not better tomorrow, then I'll take that as the sign that you are ready to cross, and I will assist you. I will not let you suffer. And the next morning, she got up and bounded down the steps like a puppy and spent 3 more months with us, having a happy, old, joyful life. So sit in a place of quiet meditation, just quiet prayer. Call it what you want. Call it prayer, call it meditation, just call it holding space, and ask your animal companion what is the best for them. And then trust what you receive. And if what you receive is that they would like you to go to the ends of the earth, even if it's just to help figure out what is going to be best for other animals, sometimes it's not even us who's getting that message. Sometimes it's a veterinarian who's understanding how to better treat an animal companion based on the condition of your animal. That could be part of their journey that we have no control over. Anyhow, yes. Let's go on to transforming our thoughts about death. That's the last one that I wanted to talk about. Keeping an eye on the time because I want to do my reading tonight for Mr. G, which I can't wait to share with you guys some things that came through about Mr. G. Okay. If I ever hit an animal, I would need to be put in a padded room. I once hit a squirrel, and it was probably one of the most traumatic things, having someone else in my family hit a deer. And it's very, very, very difficult to be someone who is responsible for wildlife crossing. But we should talk about wildlife at another time. We're really focused on pets. There's a little bit different side of the story when it comes to wildlife. And I know immediately that I was forgiven by the squirrel because that squirrel had also a different journey than, and I just happened to be a pawn in his little play. Let's talk about transforming our thoughts about death. One of the other reasons. Transforming our thoughts about death that really ties into everything that you guys are saying. I want to change the narrative about death. I think I've shared with you, I know I've shared with you guys before that I no longer have any fear of dying, none whatsoever. When my father passed, I was not, my family was quite upset with me because I just was not bereft. When my father crossed, I knew, number one, he was very old, he was very ill, And I knew that he wanted to leave the physical body because his physical body had deteriorated to such a point where quality of life was not there at all. He had no quality of life. And so I just trusted with all my heart that he crossed on his own terms and that he was happy where he was. And when I meditated about it, I knew that he was with my dogs. He loved dogs, and I knew he was with my dogs. And now my niece has an aging dog, and I just tell her, don't worry, because Grandpa will be with Skyla. Grandpa will be with Skyla. There is absolutely nothing to worry about. So they are teaching. They've taught me 100% to let go of any fear I have of death. I fear pain. I won't lie about that. Like, I don't want to be maimed, but I have no fear of crossing to the other side. I have full confidence, and it comes from the animals that you guys have shared with me. It's not just Jack and Lucy and Winston and Jake and Bailey, and it's not just my animal companions. It's all of the animal companions who have given me the beautiful gift of connecting with me on the other side that has let me know and can let me tell you that there's an afterlife, that this isn't the end, that in fact, this is just probably a small little smidge of what we experience as souls, that we are choosing this little finite body that we're in right now, and that it's soon it will just be, it's going to be different than I can't even describe it. I don't even think that we have the ability to understand or comprehend what afterlife is really like, afterlife in a body, what that is really like. So they are teaching us to transform our thoughts about death. And one by one, if they have to knock on every single door one at a time, they're going to teach us that we don't have to live in fear. In fact, fear is probably the number one thing that stops us from living our best lives ever. We're afraid of being judged. We're afraid of losing. We're afraid of doing it wrong. We're afraid of what people will think. We're afraid of everything. We're afraid of everything. Let it go. We're afraid of dying. We're afraid of money. We're afraid of drowning. We're afraid of the economy. We're afraid of the government. We're afraid of, just let it all relax. Our animal companions have the most blessed way of showing us that none of that matters, that we can let go of fear. And the minute we let go of fear, take one little risk. Tomorrow, I dare you, as much as I dare you, to stand in front of the mirror and say, I love you tonight before you go to bed. Take one little risk tomorrow. Talk to your animal companion when you get up in the morning and say, show me one little thing that I can do today where I can step outside of my comfort zone. It doesn't have to be big, just something, and take that little dare, take that little risk. And every single day you do something like that until you find that you don't have fear anymore, and that you are willing to, you can see how beautiful life is, and you're willing to keep on going, and you're willing to, I'm not telling anybody to do what I did, which was walk away from my job to start this. But I don't regret 1 second of it, not 1 second. Even when it was 6 months after I quit my corporate job and I was about 6 months out, and I was going, oh, what the hell did I do? But it all just comes gloriously together. The more you step into it and know that your animal companions throw out the net. So you are standing on the tightrope and your animal companions have thrown out the net. There is nothing to worry about. There's nothing to fear. They want you to live your life without fear. Live without fear. Live without second thoughts. Live without second guessing yourself. Because there is nothing to fear, and love transcends death. That's the other thing we're afraid of. We're afraid we're never going to see them again. We're afraid they're not going to want to talk to us again. We're afraid they're angry at us. We're afraid that we'll never see them again. We're afraid that there really is no afterlife. We're afraid that we can't even wrap our minds around, what does that mean? Like there's nothing on the other side. I go back to nothing. Think that doesn't even resonate. It just doesn't even come close to resonating. So love transcends death. That's the biggest thing that helps you overcome the fear, is that they take it with them. They don't just take it with them. It's everywhere all the time. It's in the song that you hear. It's in the name that they sing. Your name that they say. It's in the clouds. It's in everything. It's everywhere. It's in the Christmas ornaments. I'm trying to think of all the things that I've seen for you guys. It's everywhere. Okay. I would like to know if anybody is willing to say in the comments, and then I'm going to move on to Mr. G, What's your biggest fear? I would really like to know. If you are not afraid to say it, put what your biggest fear is in there and in the comment section, and I'll take a little read and see if there's something I can get from the animal companions that will talk to us specifically about that fear, because if you're afraid of it, there's probably a good chance that somebody else is too. I don't care if it's a fear of bridges, a fear of spiders, a fear of whatever, a fear of losing all your money, a fear of being homeless, a fear of, I love that example. We talk so much about money in our society. There's so much focus on money and finances, and we're all afraid that we're going to be living in a van down by the river. If anybody knows that, that reference, or we're all going to be living under a bridge. And so we'll all be in good company if we're all going to be living under a bridge. The neighboring padded rooms. Oh yeah, we're all going to be in a padded room together under the bridge in a van down by the river. Fear of lightning and fire. Okay, so your fear of lightning and fire is probably stems back to an incident. If we're going to talk about, we have talked in the past about reincarnation, but remembering, I always keep my little reincarnation fan here, remembering that past lives are all like time goes like this. It's not linear. That there's some experience in your history that is now part of your DNA that involves fire or lightning. For me, it was a fear of the ocean and a fear of being caught in giant waves, giant waves. I would have nightmares of my children drowning, of us being stuck in wave after wave of the ocean coming and taking us over. And those all kind of do stem back to some incident, whether it's past, present, or future. There's something in our psychic memory that is making us afraid of that. We can ask our animal companions to help us overcome that fear, to help us recognize what it is and to get past it. And there are people who do past life regressions. Dolores Cannon used to call them future life regressions in case it was something for the future. But regardless, you can actually heal yourself of whatever trauma it was that you experienced that caused you to be afraid of lightning and fear. Ultimately, lightning and fire. Ultimately, it's fear of death. It's a fear of being burned to death, or a fear of being struck by lightning and dying. For me, it's the pain. Again, I really don't. The pain thing doesn't do anything for me, but the actual crossing stepping into another life, or stepping into heaven, or stepping onto another planet, or wherever it is I decide to go when I'm done here. Yeah. We can kind of let go of that. Fear of getting lost. Same thing. Fear of getting lost. I'm afraid of getting lost. So, I always have a GPS with me. I don't go anywhere that I don't know. I don't go into any place strange because I'm afraid that there might be muggers there. I'm afraid something's going to hurt me. I'm afraid that the mountain lion's going to come out of the woods and get me. I'm going to be lost and starved to death. It kind of all goes back to the same thing. We're afraid of dying. And that's why they're trying to help us get over that fear, because if we can let go of those fears, it just opens more doors for living our life to its fullest. If you weren't afraid of getting lost, you'd be on the plane to New Zealand. If you weren't afraid of getting lost, you'd be going through the jungles of Cambodia, wherever Angkor Wat is. That's Angkor Wat. That's one of the things I want to go see. Or you'd go to Peru, or who knows? Who knows where you go? It could just be down the street. It could be around the corner. It could be to just a city in your own state that you haven't been to before because you've been afraid of being lost. Most animals are not afraid of being lost. We think they are. We kind of impose what's that anthropomorphism, where we put a human feeling onto an animal. Most animals are not afraid of being lost. Cats in particular, they would go and walk about for as long as they were allowed. They always seem to find their way back, though, at some point, no matter how long their walkabout might be. But most animals are not afraid of getting lost. And wildlife, of course, they know where they are at all times. Here's the thing. I'll tell you this much. You will never be lost. You will never be lost because the earth always knows where you are. Oh, hang on. My computer's going to die. How did you come unplugged? Let's plug her in. So you will never be lost because Mother Earth always knows where you are. When your feet are planted on the ground, the earth knows where you are, and you can ask to be guided home. It's how I help people with lost pets. They reach out to me to say, can you please find my pet? Tell me where my pet is. And they're waiting for an answer. I joke about this all the time. They're waiting for an answer that says, your pet says they're on Cherry Street in the brick house with the white picket fence. That no animal knows that. Your animal companion is going to say, I smell dead leaves and I'm in a place that's dark and I'm afraid because there's weird noises. That's what you're going to get. And so what I do with in those cases is tell the animal companion, trust the earth. Just sit quietly on the earth. Say to yourself, I'm not lost. I know the way home. I know the way home. I know the way home. And let your feet and the earth guide you home. Okay. Don't know where that came from either. Purposely used to drive long drives to get lost and find your way out. Ooh, I like that. I like that. Just go and see where you end up. Fear of not being able to take care of myself. Judy, I get that. I totally understand that fear. Having to be reliant on others to care for you. There's a story I don't remember who told me this story. One of you guys. I think it was one of you guys. Living in a van down with the river. Sorry, Kim, I just saw that. About the bumblebee. Jody, was it you who told me about the bumblebee? Can't remember. But the story of the bumblebee is when bumblebees age, they go to a flower and they stay at that particular flower, and they'll do their little job and they'll fly home and deliver the honey, but then they go back to the flower at night so that they're not a burden to the other bees who are busy at work doing all the things that senior bee can no longer do. So senior bee simply stays on the flower until it's senior bee's time to leave. And I said to myself, I think that's what I would like to be. I would like to be a senior bee and not be a burden to anybody. And if I feel myself getting to that point, I will do what I can to be productive. But then I will recognize that when it's my time to go, it's my time to go. And that's just my personal philosophy, that I'm going to be the little bumblebee on the flower. Okay. Let's we're all cuckoo, right? We're all nuts. Everybody, nobody's excluded from that comment whatsoever. All right, so we got the fears. Let's fear. Was it? I see fear flying up there somewhere. Okay, fear of getting hurt. Yeah, Shalia, fear. It's the pain that I'm not interested in any pain. So I just put that out there for whoever's listening. Okay, we have to do the reading because we're an hour in, and where's my notes for Mr. G? Okay, so Mr. G is a kitty cat. Mr. G is a tabby cat, and I had my notes open for Mr. G. Hang on a second. I want to make sure that I have this right. I may have to come back to Mr. G because I think I closed my notes. Okay, I have a general memory of what was in Mr. G's notes, and what I don't hit on with this little reading, I will come back to. Mr. G is a tabby cat, and when I asked for evidence, this is what I got. The name Mr. G is just, I don't know, there's something about the name Mr. G. It reminds me of a nightclub like Mr. G's. And as soon as I thought that in my mind, I looked at the picture of Mr. G. As soon as I thought that it's a nightclub for vocal cats is what I started to see these cats, party animals, like sitting around the little dance club. And that's what came into my mind, that Mr. G's was a nightclub for vocal cats. So was Mr. G vocal? I'd be curious about that. And party animals. Also, Mr. G is a very gentle soul, an introvert, and sensitive. I got an idea of being very, very sensitive. And Mr. G, I'm going from memory now, and I probably will have to come back to this, but the memory that I'm going from Mr. G's notes is that you did what we just talked about. You did everything possible for Mr. G. Everything that could humanly be done, you did. And he crossed anyway. And why? Why did he cross that way? And why didn't anything that you do worked? I know that's exactly what was in that. I think there's a little bit more to it, but I know that's exactly what it was. And the answer is everything. Mr. G, did he just inspire our whole conversation? I have a sense that Mr. G is sitting back with his arms folded, just going, yep, you all got it. You all got it. One of those kitty cats who knows that we sometimes need a big nudge. The other thing that everything we talked about is exactly what he wants to share with you, that there was nothing further you could have done. You did everything humanly possible. And even your veterinarian, that is part of what's coming through, that even your veterinarian now would do something differently for the next cat that comes through with those symptoms and with those things. That your animal companion would do something different, like your veterinarian would do something differently. And something about nutrition is coming through right now as well. I don't know what Mr. G's nutrition was, but I get a sense that everybody, based on Mr. G's passing, will shift the way that they now treat this particular illness that Mr. G crossed from. And the other thing that came through was an angel reading card. There was an angel reading card this morning. If anybody, I love that one deck, the Kyle Gray deck. This deck, the Angels and Ancestors deck. It's just a beautiful deck. And I know that there are some people have said to me, I know this, right? That these can be, you worry about the messages that come through. You're not sure where it's coming from. This is the most beautiful, positive messages I've ever received. And I haven't ever, they just are always beautiful. So this one was, take a deep breath, let it out slowly. Take a deep breath, let it out slowly. And whoever needs to hear this message, not just Mr. G is human, whoever needs to hear this message. The right way is not always the easy way. And that there's something right now that you have been putting off doing that you need to do anyway. There's a difficult decision that needs to be made, and it's time to make that decision, and it won't be easy. And that's what Mr. G is saying, but that's okay. He's saying it's okay, even though it won't be easy. It is okay, because in the end, the outcome will be beneficial for everybody. So take the high road, do the right thing, even if it's not the easiest thing. And then it went right into, from that little bit of information from the card, it went right into more validation, where he said, most cats love fish, but I took it to the next level. And he spoke in the first person. I took it to the next level. And he gave me a visual of eating a whole fish. So either he stole a fish off the counter, or I really, more than anything, got a sense that Mr. G picked a fish right out of the pond, and enjoyed the little fish. And that's a topic for another day. When animals hurt other animals, it's nothing that needs to hurt our heart. Nothing that needs to hurt our heart. There is that little fish was on his own journey. He and Mr. G already knew exactly what was going to happen on their own journey. And so we don't have to worry about animals who are hurt by other animals. There's no weird karma thing going on there or anything like that. Okay, let's see. Any questions, guys? On my car, my license plate. Oh, I don't know what that is. I must have missed something with the comments. But okay, so that kind of wraps things up for tonight. We've gone over an hour now, so I appreciate all of you guys for showing up tonight. If there's any questions, go ahead and post them in right now. Are you able to connect to living animals? The answer to that is yes, I can, and I have done animal communication sessions in the past for living animals. But for whatever reason, and I don't know the reason, I seem to be able to make easier connections with animals on the other side. And animals who are approaching end of life are usually very responsive to me as well. But yes, I mean, all animals. And here's the thing, and we can talk about this more if you guys want to. Telepathic communication is a real thing. It's the only way that animals know how to communicate. And animals communicate with each other, and animals communicate interspecies, and animals communicate with us all the time. And none of them uses words. None of them uses a voice. It's all done through telepathic communication, which is not mind to mind. It's heart to heart. We talked about that a little bit in last week's animal communication class. But we can always talk more about that. So can't watch wildlife killing wildlife, even though you know it's the norm. We don't have to watch it. I get it. We don't have to watch it, but know that Mother Nature knows what she's doing. Know that the animals know what they're doing. It's all part of the grand scheme of letting it go. That thing about letting go of the need to control and the need to rescue every single animal and the need to save every single animal and the need to stop the pain of every single animal. It's why some people can't go into rescues, because if they go into the rescue, their heart is so broken from seeing all of the displaced animals and all of the animals in a state of confusion and anxiety and wanting to take them all home. If anybody follows the Asher House on Instagram, we would all be the Asher House, where we would have acres and acres and acres of land with a beautiful lake and have all the dogs that ever need to be rescued on the property. Yeah, that would be heaven for me. Where was I going with that? Oh, same thing for wildlife, right? We would love to rescue every single animal, but this is what I say. I say, when we help one animal, we help them all. If we truly believe that we are all connected, that we are all one, we each are individuals, our own little expression of the universe, God, Buddha, Allah, whatever you want to call it. We're each unique, but all connected. And ultimately, we are all part of the same source. And if that's the case, when we help one animal, we help them all. When I bring the beautiful blind gypsy into my home, I know from the bottom of my heart that the love I feel for her is rippling out to every other homeless animal that's out there. We don't need to help them all when we can do what we can. Do what you can with what you have at this moment in time. Help the one that you can. And that's how I get wildlife too. I think I never know which stories I share with you guys anymore. The one about the bear, my bear that somebody killed, and I was livid, furious before I practiced Ho'oponopono, and the little bear came to me in a meditation and explained to me exactly how it works, that they even leave their physical bodies before the harshest moment. They're gone. They're already gone. They're out. Anyhow, way off topic. All right, my friends, it is good to see you guys again. Are you able to connect with past fur babies easier? I tried with my current dig and it's so hard. The information just doesn't flow. It's okay. It takes a little bit of practice. But we're kind of out of time, so we can always continue to talk about this. It does take practice because it's not normalized, number one. We think that everybody's going to think we're crazy. That alone puts up a wall. And then we think that we can't do it, and that puts up a wall. We think that only special people can do it, and that puts up a wall. And all of those barriers are what prevent us from actually being able to make to communicate with our animal companions. But topic for another day. All right, my friends, I love you guys. Have a beautiful night. I will see you all next week or on Thursday. If you're going to join the Animal Reiki class on Thursday, the link is in the description. Oh, gosh, I always forget to say. And please click subscribe and like this video so that more people get it. See it. Okay. Someday I'll be a YouTuber. Love you guys. Bye. Take care.